Hello, quarantine students. This is Mr. Pale giving you your own personalized recording because I failed to do so during class time. So here I am on a Saturday night making you a lesson. I'm going to pull up the uh, lesson and teach you today. It's about how marriage is a faithful love. So we've done the total gift of self in the body and sexuality. Marriage is a free gift that you consent to. And when you don't, it results in divorce and annulments. And lesson three is a faithful love. Here it comes. All right. From a papal document called Cassia Connubii on Marriage, it says this inviolable stability, although not in the same perfect measure in every case, belongs to every true marriage. For the word of the Lord said, what God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. This must of necessity include all true marriages without exception, since it was spoken of the marriage of our first parents, the prototype of every future marriage. What we're talking about today is how marriage is forever. And this paragraph, which I just read to you, speaks about how this is true of all marriages. All marriages, whether you get married civilly and or you get married sacramentally in the church. All marriages are by nature considered forever. Some are deeper and stronger than others. Namely, when you get sacramental grace, you have a deeper bond. However, all marriages based on the nature of the relationship are total and faithful. And that's the subject of today's lesson. Um, One, that all marriages are, both civil and sacramental, and secondly, what we do to hurt that indissolubility. So, I'm going to give you three reasons why marriage is forever, and I'm going to move fast because you have the ability to pause and write things down in your notebook. But the number one reason why marriage is forever is because conjugal love involves the totality in which all the elements of the person enter: appeal of the body and instinct, power of feeling and affectivity, aspiration of the spirit and of will. It aims at a deeply personal unity, a unity that beyond union in one flesh leads to forming one heart and soul. It demands indissolubility and faithfulness. And so the point here is that marriage is forever because the nature of the relationship results in a whole new being, truly. When two people come together, they form not just one flesh, but a whole heart and soul union. They become basically one dynamic. And yes, they can divorce, yes, they can separate, but they would only do so painfully and at the detriment of the other. And so that's why marriage is forever because it's so all encompassing, it's so comprehensive that you cannot walk away without hurting yourself, really, in one way or another. Number two, marriage is forever because the very purpose of marriage is the mutual molding of husband and wife. This determined effort to perfect each other can, in a very real sense, as the Catechism teaches, be said to be the chief reason and purpose of matrimony. This is the prime reason, and that we have marriage in the first place. It's the idea that you're going to unite to somebody and forever perfect them, forever help them become the person that they want to be, that God wants them to be. If this is your goal to get somebody to heaven, well, that never ends. And so marriage cannot end. Marriage cannot end until death. And so marriage is forever. It is a faithful union because you are always working and molding the other person. Number three, love seeks to be definitive. It cannot be an arrangement until further notice. The intimate union of marriage as a mutual giving of two persons and the good of the children demand total fidelity from the spouses and require an unbreakable union between them. So, number three is basically for the kiddos. Marriage, by its nature, normally often results in children. It is best for the children, the parents, be prepared to and commit to staying together. So, when you become married and you are open to kids and you recognize kids are a natural fruit of marriage, you then um, have all the more reason to do so when you have kids. Kids typically succeed better. They do better academically with parents at home, as this study suggests. This study suggests that they're less likely to ever engage in a fight, and this is the large amount of hundreds of thousands of millions, really, children who have been impacted by divorce over the years. You see how it's skyrocketed since really the 50s, when what happened there was no fault divorces. And you were able in the 50s to get a divorce for any reason whatsoever, or basically no reason whatsoever. Because of this, more and more kids have been impacted by divorce, and they are at a disadvantage. As hard as it is, um, it's just a hard lot given when you have to always balance between two parents. All right, I'm going to skip that TED talk. Um, and I just want to, in closing of this main point of lesson three, faithful marriages, I want to point out that marriage, when you do it right, when you lean into it, when you can be in a lifelong union, it is what is best for you. As you can see, let me try to get some drawing tools here. If you want to be very happy in life, there appears to be a real edge to being married. If you are married, you are more likely to be very happy than if you are not happy, as you see there. If none of us want to be not too happy, if you are married, the odds of you being not too happy are relatively low, and they jump. If you are not married, they jump a little bit. So, this is why I want you to really lean in and learn as much as you can about marriage this chapter, because if you do it right, it results in, as you see in bold, now these are my words, it results in greater levels of happiness. A quality marriage means a quality life. Quality life is a happy life. And so that's the value and beauty of being in a faithful marriage. Now, if your marriage is really rough and really abusive, no, you should not stay in it. You should find your way out. But the whole point is here is to encourage you to make a lifelong commitment, be faithful for it, faithful to it in good times and in bad. Offenses against conjugal fidelity. So I just gave you the reasons in the first part of the chapter. I'm sorry, the first part of the lesson on why marriage is forever. Now I'm going to talk about three somewhat random offenses against conjugal fidelity. And that would, number one, of course, is adultery. It's when you are giving yourself to somebody that you are not married to. When somebody has sexual intercourse with someone who is not their spouse, this, of course, contradicts the vows of marriage. Um, Most of you know what adultery is. Most of us can see entirely why it's wrong. I just want to point out to you that it's more common than a lot of people may realize. Even of marriages that remain intact, 10% of them experience adultery, and people who divorce, they oftentimes in the neighborhood of 30% of them experience adultery in their marriage. And so I just want to point that out to you because it's a real serious and a sad issue that wounds a lot of people, that hurts a lot of people. It's not fun and games. And this goes for high school relationships too. There's a lot of cheating going out there from what I hear about year in and year out, not just this year, but there's a lot of cheating going on, and that is that's a recipe for a failed life in the future. That being said, the next thing we do that hinders a quality marriage is cohabitation. Cohabitation is living with your significant other. As you see on this study on the left, the number of cohabitating couples has arisen dramatically over the past 20 years, nearly quadrupled. You see in the UK over the past more like 30 years that the percentage of people getting married has lessened, and the number of people that just live together have increased. That's the orange part. And so the idea of just why don't we just live together is done for numerous reasons, which I believe I say on this slide. Um, the number one reason why people live together before they're married is for money. It saves a lot of money. It could save you in the neighborhood of $1,000. These are some rough zeros, but there's a lot of them. $1,000 a month when it comes to rent and utilities and gas. Living together with your significant other does save a lot of money. Another very common reason why people cohabitate is because they want to test the waters. They want to see, is this pretty dirty or clean? Are they reliable? Are they compatible? Will we get bored of each other? Well, a lot of people nowadays don't feel comfortable getting married until they really experience what that would be like. And so they move in together, they cohabitate. And the third reason is a little bit more simple. They just want it to be convenient. They don't want to go out of their way. They don't want to have to travel on a daily basis to go see their boyfriend or girlfriend. So, just out of facility, they want it to be convenient. Well, I'm going to give you some brief responses to these reasons why people cohabitate. Number one here. Uh, the Catholic response would be to not sacrifice a quality relationship for money. There's a beauty when a couple lives apart. There's a beauty and a tension in that we're moving somewhere that we're not there yet. And if you're going to go where you're not ready to go yet, simply for money, you might be rushing and hurting the relationship in the process, as well as the fact that you make big important decisions um, for money. You'll be making things that might even harm your relationship simply for a financial discount, and that's not that could be a sign of missing priorities or perhaps even a lack of patience. And number two, you want to test the waters. Well, you might be focusing on too small of an area. If somebody's clean or dirty, that should not make or break your relationship. You know, your relationship be composed of very deep spiritual things. Um, and you should not end any relationship because the other person's dirty. If that person is respectful and a mature person, they should be able to change in small, cleanly ways for you. There's nothing living together is not it's not going to teach you anything you don't already know about that person. You can see that when you hang out with them on a regular basis over the course of many months. You will get to know them. You don't have to live with them. You're going to see their place plenty. And so, oftentimes, this suggests a wrong focus on marriage and a lack of attention towards the bigger issues. And last but not least, let's live together because it's convenient. Well, frankly, marriage is not convenient. Marriage is difficult. Marriage is hard. And if you're making a big decision based on convenience, it's not a great sign of love. It's not a great sign of sacrifice. Closing thoughts on cohabitation is that it is important to take the relationship in stages. It's obviously dangerous to sexual impurities. You're more likely to commit sins of unchastity. It, apologize for the typo there, it creates the wrong approach to marriage. Marriage is a lifelong total commitment, and you want to approach it like a cannonball. When you find a person that you agree with, that you're attracted to, that you're in love with, when you take those vows, that's when you unite your lives. Okay. And that is, and when you do that and you move in, you have this mentality of this is it. You know, we're going to the grave. You know, burn the ships. We're going in. All right. And these statistics suggest, and many other studies suggest, that living together, cohabitating, actually does not help your likelihood of getting a divorce. If anything, it increases your likelihood of getting a divorce. Last note of the lesson is polygamy. Polygamy is being married to two or more people. Polygamy is wrong for numerous reasons. The one stated by the Catechism is that it is not in line with the dignity of the wife. This wife is giving all of her body and her energies to serving this man and his children, and gets to share himself between three, four others. This does not reflect the equality between man and woman. So that's that. And we will have much more to talk about over the next week when we move on to Fruitful Love. Stay posted to this YouTube channel with all of the updated lessons. There should be 2 or 3 posted this week. So thanks for tuning in. Y'all email me with any questions. And don't forget to do your marriage essay. It's due Wednesday night. See Google Classroom for more details. And I'm signing off. God bless.